tonight, hey, Billy, can you...
You're listening to the Doug Stanhope Podcast.
Nobody's made fun of my tweet and told me that it was already a hack fucking thing, so I don't blame you, Stanhope.
Any comments?
Yeah, I got...
LOLs?
Exactly. Yeah, fuck rich people. That'll be it. We all just misheard him. Gold, Chad, gold. Yes, bigly possible. Very punny. It's doing well. No, it's doing well.
Chad Shank might have coined the expression because we were just watching some CNN against our will, and of course Trump says witch hunt,
rigged witch hunt, and Chad Shank said I think he might be trying to say wigged rich hunt, and I go, you might have coined that, but I've been drinking.
I follow this pretty close, and I think he did. So if anyone has proof beyond a reasonable doubt,
well, the pay's the courthouse. The same, whether you coined it or not.
I tweeted it on Stanhope's advice. Yeah, that's it's all the same to me.
I'm drinking a Bailey's whiskey coffee because it's 3:00 in the afternoon, and it's the day after the end of the eBay yard sale. So we have all been in here autographing items. For the last, I thought that would go quickly. It did not.
It never does.
And we're not done. That was one load she had. You guys are fucking remarkable. Thank you, everyone. We watched the every item end.
Like a Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's playoffs.
It's like, oh my God, it's go way back. It might be.
So it was.
Wait, Becker, were you watching at home? You weren't here when it was going off, were you?
No, the internet's everywhere, Greg.
Well, no, I just because
we need God.
We were all staring at different screen devices, and I couldn't remember who was here because I was just trying to update here, and then you guys were on one.
The bar is
Tom was even here.
But the bar is set up to watch the TVs. So this bar is not a really good social bar because everyone's facing away from each other. So we're all on our laptops.
It's Asperger bar.
$102, $170, $300.
I thought that was by design because none of us like talking to each other.
Yeah.
It's a loser's bar.
Yeah. I like it.
That was the original name of where you're sitting, is Loser's Corner over there. But it worked out for this podcast.
Works out really good.
Yeah. Seems apt.
Janny, you want to just get right into it? You want to tell her story first?
Which one?
Sexual harassment. We've been going back and forth about this Asia Arigato or whatever fucking
Argento.
Yeah.
It weighed in. She recently resigned from her job at the hospital. Mostly because of health stuff. She got diagnosed a while back. She's been trying to figure out what's going on with her. They think she has RA or lupus or Shogun's disease, which I made fun of her because she's Asian. But she's just been having this new job that she had to get a while back is on the floor. She has to lift a lot of people. She has to do a lot of physical stuff, and it's just taking its toll on her.
She's 4'3".
Right. So that was most of what weighed in, but also what weighed in was that we had an incident. Because all these, like you said, the Me Too women, I kind of view a lot of that as prostitution. I don't know. I wasn't there, so I don't want to take a fucking horrible stance. But if you trade for something, that is prostitution. I traded sex for a part in a movie. That seems more like prostitution than
Are you saying like a completed transaction?
But I don't know.
I don't need a receipt for a donut.
I don't presume to know all the details of every story because I don't care and I don't even read about it, much less was I there. But like people in the nursing field, people don't realize have to deal with this kind of shit every day. You know, people, they have to move them. They have to physically move dirty old men who fucking, oh yeah, rub your titties on me, baby. You know, they're literally fucking being vulgar as fuck while they're trying to do their nursing jobs.
Sure.
And Jenny had a guy one day that was particularly egregious, kept exposing himself.
A patient?
Yeah. And she came home in tears and was and told me a little bit about it, thinking that I'd be able to take it. And unfortunately, I wasn't in that fucking kind of mind frame.
Luckily, he was in a hospital at the time.
Well, it ended up with the neighbors probably thought we were having some sort of domestic dispute, because it ended up with me in the truck, started trying to leave, and Jenny's like on my hood going, please, just stop. And I'm like, it's done. It's done. I'll find him. I'm going to burn the whole fucking hospital down if I have to fucking, realizing, of course, that I'm just as much or more of a monster as that guy was. But to me, that's collateral damage.
But at least you're healthy.
I don't know why I'm picturing an elderly man.
And that's why they can get away with it a lot of times.
No,
Elderly, there's dementia.
Well,
there's
they're also
medication.
on tons of medication.
I'm on medication.
Morphine time.
Also, nobody gives a fuck, because you're not a fucking superstar person with fucking news
But we also
reporting on the dumb shit that happens to you.
We also apply the fact that old people get away with being racist. They go, oh, well, she's really old and stuff. But if you take it to the next level, he grew up at a time when that's okay. They go, no, it's not okay. And he goes, I don't have to change. I'm in the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm on my porch.
Yeah,
I'm on my property.
She's small and she's brown. Yeah, she gets a whole bunch of that fallout from all that stuff. But it was, we finally just told her just to get out of that, because I can't. She's afraid I'm going to burn the hospital down. So her having a job has now become a liability because she's married to me.
Of course, you would never really burn down the hospital.
Well, no, not
unless you use a Tesla flamethrower.
I would burn down that one guy's room, and then hopefully it wouldn't spread. I'd help put it out. I don't
You'd
want
be a
to.
hero?
Biggest mistake of arsonists. Biggest mistake. They always show up to watch it burn.
Yeah.
You're going to go the extra step. He was helping.
Well, I would have had to kick in the door and demand from the other nurses who was the, douchebag before I
Where's
was
Hansy?
able to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where's the guy that you all hate?
Which one?
Yeah, exactly.
This fucking place is full of them.
Not one name. He's which one? They all point to one guy.
We go. That's the left wing over here, down there, and then most of the whole fucking place. Dude.
I was close to black
fucking
outrage, but I'm pretty sure that was basically my plan. Yeah.
Well, it all's well that ends without incarceration.
Yeah, fuck it.
This all started with the Asia Argento. I guess she's the main Harvey Weinstein accuser, and then
she did that thing
by the time this fucking podcast comes out, there's going to be so much more to this, but it brought up other questions. Like, oh, she was 37 and she fucked him when he was 17 and then he went broke. This is the New York Times version.
That was a story that broke in the New York Times.
Yeah, that broke yesterday. Today she comes out and says, oh, it was never sexual at all. He asked for a loan, and fortunately, Anthony Bourdain is dead and doesn't have to vouch for any of this story. Tony told me to just pay him off. He paid him or whatever. Yeah. It's just the idea. This flips the whole argument so many ways, and I don't think there's a dude that would say, "Hey, I got fucked by a hot chick when I was 17, and I was debilitated because of it." I know it's a cliched thing with school teachers fucking students, but in that situation, when you're starring in a movie with this hot chick and she fucked me, and then afterwards he was a child star, and I think it's kind of common for child stars to dry up getting work when they turn 17.
Or after they fuck a star.
But a grift is a grift, and if there's money to be gotten by claiming...
Yeah, I mean, that was the idea is that
right?
Apparently there's a ton of money to be made by this.
I mean, that's what it's about.
I've done bits about this. I don't know if any are recorded, but just the idea that a 17-year-old, no guy would say, oh, yeah, they would be bragging about it to this day.
I told you the story when we did the live podcast with Bert Kreischer. I told you the story where you kept saying I was a rape victim.
Yeah.
And I was a teenager that hooked up with like a 30-year-old married woman.
I was 17. It's in my book where I fucked that woman. She is like 44 or something, and not like a hot fucking lead actress by any means, and I got $35. This guy got $380,000 for getting laid by a hot actress when he was 17. It's either way, he's a douche.
He's a victim.
Everybody's
That's the
view of
thing.
what's a problem is different, I guess.
No, but then you reverse the roles,
Well,
and he's part of me too.
Well, and that's it. He saw an
And then
opportunity.
she's all of a sudden not believe victims. She's like saying he's lying about me.
Yeah, but
Harvey
they're letting.
Weinstein's saying she's lying about me. She's saying he's lying about me. But it breaks down to, if we all believe that it's okay for a man, boy, to have sex at 17 because we want it. You're saying that, oh, girls aren't equal. They can't say that they want it at 17. Yeah, I wanted to fuck that guy. Well, you're not
You're out of your
developed
mind,
enough
yeah.
to know that. A guy is, though.
No, and that's what. But they're giving her equal time for every release they do of. Well, she did this, the payment. Then they're going, well, what's your version? And they're like, say, with the guys, they didn't do that. They just went, you go into hiding,
Done.
and then we'll talk about it without you. And the studio will fire you from everything you have, not release movies, and then you can come out later, crawl out, and say something. They're giving her equal time. I go, this is getting to be a little ridiculous. She needs to hide and let a complete lie run around the world, and then she can try to fix it. After killing Anthony Bourdain.
Conjecture, Your Honor.
I would like to say that morally, if the woman who was overage, who fucked me when I was underage, if today I could come forward with this and get $380,000, I would like to say that I would not do that, but I probably would, because I don't have $380,000. So I mean, I get his motives.
You would. But the thing is, Anthony Bourdain, she was dating him, and you can take whatever you want out of it, but he refused to get up. He was in France. Nobody could figure out what happened. They were going back and forth. This is supposedly, I don't know the timeline on when the payment happened and stuff, but all I know
I
is
think before Anthony
that's
died.
why we're not going to talk about this, because more shit's going to come out, but it brings up questions about us. Like, personally, we talked about this last night, and I don't remember the answers. When did you lose your virginity? I have.
Chaille going
like-
first.
we'll do it alphabetically.
He pointed at Chaille.
It's
no, I didn't see he was looking at me. I was trying to
that's
get
all
this
right.
guy's
It's-
age.
You fixed that. I have two. The same way I did open mic once, but I don't count that. Like a year before I actually did, I went drunk and I went to an open mic in Boise, but then I went and I started my career a year later. I was just terrible, but I don't count that one. And I don't count my first penetration because it was pre-cum era. So losing my virginity was 9th grade or 8th grade or whatever. But I achieved penetration once accidentally when I was 9. But yeah, I fucked a lot. I had a girlfriend that was a rapist because she was 18, I was 16, and so yeah, I was in a rape relationship, if you want to put it.
It's
in
such
those
a
terms.
tender story you tell.
And a very hard greeting card to get. Thank you, happy anniversary, rapey.
How old were you when you lost your virginity?
I was just trying to do some
Or
math
have you?
here. I did have a job and my first car, so I was at least 16. And I do remember the fucking day after, because I went surfing down in San Diego and I met my friend. And I remember explaining it to him out in the lineup surfing, and we were laughing so hard we kept falling off our surfboards. It was ridiculous. I met a girl who had stolen her parents' car while they were gone. They were out for the evening. She stole her parents' car by rolling it out of the backing it out of the driveway. It was like on a slant, and it was like blocking half of the street. And she just ran to the market where we were casing out the joint to steal liquor. So we're just fucking hanging out, and she comes up, and it ends up I met her that night, and then later on, I think I was 16 and she was 14, and she'd had plenty of trouble with the law. and then after too, but it was a couple times.
She was too young.
I met her after that. Oh fuck! I just remembered. Then after my buddy George Galvez, he'd had a mustache since 6th grade.
They
so
bleep that.
No, he's proud of this. He pulled her car in. She tried to steal her parents' car. That was a fucking stick shift, and she didn't even know how to fucking start the thing, right? So it rolled out in the street. She's not a really good criminal. But I remember we had like phone conversations and stuff, and then she asked me to come over one night, and the babysitter her parents got, because they needed to have someone watch her. Babysitter at 14, right?
Well, she already knew she already had trouble backing up.
Oh,
Well, she clearly needed supervision.
no, I'm saying like that's what a train wreck this chick was.
You're right.
I remember the fucking babysitter shutting the door going, "Have fun, you two." I mean, that was it. Fuck, I just totally remember that. That was weird. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Did you ever,
Oh, and it continued, like she continued to get into trouble, and things were fucking wickedly, like what a fucking train wreck. I remember we were at a 7-Eleven waiting. Me and the buddy I was serving with, we ended up, it was a party night, Friday night. We're fucking sophomores in high school. And we go, we'll meet you at the 7-Eleven around the corner from where her cousin lives, right? And we're sitting there waiting, no phones. We're waiting by the payphone. And like, call her again, call it. Nothing. And like, EMTs go by, cop car goes by. Man, where the fuck are they? Fucking came out. We're turning left to come down to the corner where we're at and fucking nailed a tree. They went to the hospital. All the sirens were for them. That's what both of them were train wrecks. They were fucking great.
were you ever statutorily raped? Did you ever fuck outside your age class?
No. I was also thinking of that too, because I was thinking, well, but no.
Chad, you've told your story on the podcast.
One of them, yeah.
One of them.
The other one, I was just a lot younger when I was in Alaska. I probably think I told that story too, but there was like a woman in like her 40s when I was like 19 or so.
You
but
were
I was already
up there for the military, right?
Yeah, I was already a legal adult at that time. But I lost my virginity when I was 13. She was 14. And she had said that she had already lost her virginity before. But except for whenever I fucked her, she apparently found out that didn't happen. Because I guess she didn't. I don't know the fucking whole thing, how it went down. Her and her girlfriend were there. They kept calling me. I finished and ran home. She lived down the street at the trailer park. And I didn't know what to do immediately whenever I was done.
You pulled your pants up, right? You weren't duck walking the whole way.
I duck walked halfway down the hallway of the trailer, pulling them up. Yeah, I ran fast. I've never been a runner, but I was that day. And then they were calling me, telling me that, you're not a virgin anymore, because they were making fun of me before that. And I got bullied.
That's some fucking women's prison.
I got
shit
bullied.
Right
I got bullied.
You're a virgin?
Yeah, I got bullied into losing my virginity at 13. The worst part was
tough group you hung with.
The worst part was then she told her mom she thought she was pregnant. So her mom got a hold of my mom, and like we all had to go have lunch together at a Mexican food place and discuss.
I picture Los Enchiladas.
Oh, fuck. It was the most awkward, horrible thing. And she wasn't fucking pregnant. She just was 14.
Mexican food will make you look pregnant.
Yeah. That was weeks later.
If they gave you beers with the chips, it's all over.
It was, so yeah, that was, I was young and she was older. So I had a pattern.
Sounds like a Jim Croce song.
I was young and she was older. That's always the case.
We just sang that one.
Yeah, I know.
That's Dr. Hook.
Dr. Hook, yeah.
Becker's never fucked above, he said last night.
No, I never have. I don't know why. It's just always been. But maturity was always the thing too. I just never. I always hung out with older people, but just never. So 6th grade, I was in art class.
They were your grandparents. You were sent to live with them.
6th grade, I'm in art class, and this girl goes, "Hey, you're really good at art." And I go, "Thanks." And I wasn't really talkative. And she goes, "Well, will you do?"
Well, when did that change? Horrifically,
dramatically. But
That's a great opening line, by the way.
No, because remember, you always got the report cards that said,
"Oh yeah,
doesn't participate in class, doesn't that?" And I have them. My mom sent me all of them, and it was like all of a sudden at like 7th or 8th grade, boom, talks too much, interrupts class. And I was like, that's an amazing timeline.
Hang on,
I know.
You just reminded me of something.
Mm-hmm.
The eBay yard sale went so good, but it's so much fucking work for Vavoom. Vavoom and Bisbee, if you come to Bisbee, I got to put that on the website at some point. The bullet points of places to hit in Bisbee, because people email me. And
we should do a page. I'll write that down. Let's do a page.
Yeah, Redbone, Vavoom, Cafe Roca,
Miners Merchants, Poco.
Yes.
And they're all different, and it's a fantastic circle.
We just don't know when they're all open.
Yeah, that's on you. Yeah.
What we're gonna do, we're not this fucking podcast, but in follow-up podcasts, we're gonna do a small eBay yard sale every podcast where each of us has one item, because 141 items, you have no idea how. Well, don't pitch it yet. Bring it next week.
I'm just saying. I'm looking for things with that in mind.
Oh, Becker's got one. I know what Chad's is. So, what made me interrupt you is a report card of Becker's would be a fucking monster sale. Does not participate in class. That's not it. But yeah. Next podcast, we're just gonna do. Each one of us has one item that we sell. So it's 4 items every week.
Every week? I thought we were doing it once a month.
No, every podcast.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that's.
I'll have to dig a little deeper.
There's so many sponsors that we have to turn down because I will not promote something that I don't actually like, or one of you like.
Right.
Some of you
I
shave.
would.
So yes, Dollar Shave Club. I don't shave, but you do. So if we can't get behind the product, no, we're not doing it. So why not, just to keep this podcast alive, we do an eBay yard sale every week, and we can just pitch, all right, what'd you bring this week?
It'll be weird. It'll be weird, yeah. We'll bring weird stuff.
Yeah, and we can... And the fucking, the ad copy will be a lot funnier because we wrote it.
Yeah. And we probably won't fire ourselves.
More than likely.
We hope.
Chad's more likely than anyone. But anyway, back to your report cards and your...
Oh, yeah. So
6th grade.
Yeah, and then art class, and the girl's like, you're 6th grade, you're shy anyway. And she's like, "You're really good at art. Will you do my art project? Because it's due." And I'm like, "Well,
whoa, you glossed over that. You're a gunslinger. You're
I'm
for
a young
hire?
artist.
All right.
And my art projects are getting, hey, and this is what he did.
How'd you make that turkey?
Yeah,
it looks realistic.
You were getting hustled by a future Hooters waitress.
And so.
Or hostess.
But you got to see. So then she goes, "Will you do my art project?" And I'm like, okay. So I do her art project, I do mine. She gets the accolades for her art project.
Sure.
And then she goes, "Well, come back here," whatever. And then we had sex, and then she, and then I'm like, no idea what was going on there. And, nobody to really talk to, lots of brothers and sisters, but again, you don't bring it up. Hence how the Catholic Church stays alive. And
wait, I know you have a twin brother. Mm-hmm. Do you have other siblings?
2 other older brothers and a sister. And
what?
I was like, and I was like going, you don't tell anybody.
And a raccoon.
But you don't tell anybody this.
Oh no, not especially because you're so low on the totem pole in the family.
It's sixth grade. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't
That's, But that's prostitution again. You traded art for sex.
I agree.
That's
but you know, life sometimes imitates art. But she didn't get pregnant. But
you missed out on some Mexican food. It sounds like to me.
Could you imagine being a parent at 6 going, are you guys hiring? I really need the work. And by the way, I don't know algebra yet. But I never would end up knowing it, so hire me now. I need one more paper route. The kid needs new shoes. Can't you just use those newspapers? That's what they did in the Depression.
I can do the morning and the late edition.
But the old joke I always had with it was, I didn't know anything about it. What I found out later, as you get older, because then there was, you know, what we call the dry period when you don't do as much art. And,
Oh, you're not as good at it.
in junior high, I figured out her brothers were both in prison.
Oh.
In and out, like repeatedly. Lived in a bad part of town.
They were probably good at art.
No, they
The
were
wrong
good at their
side
sister.
of the tracks
yeah.
in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah.
Killing artists.
But I had no idea. And then later I went, oh my God, you remember that Jimi Hendrix song, Are You Experienced? She did. So later I kind of tracked her later on, and it doesn't get better.
Man.
But the fact is that the joke I always had was her life didn't turn out much better than that art win. But I can't believe I'm not an artist now, because that was a lot of incentive to go into art.
Yeah, you should have been like
I was into
down
art
a
before
hole,
I was into her,
so to speak.
Tracy, I wish you were on this podcast, but you refuse to talk.
I don't know why you can't secretly wire her like they do the president.
We have someone sent us a really like a better mic, like a lavalier mic, better than the two I spent good money for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she doesn't like to wear it.
That's all right. My argument is that, and it's a very NAMBLA argument, but in a heterosexual way, by the time you're ready to have kids, you should know about what fucking's all about. Like, you can't legislate against nature. Okay, you're not ready to fuck until you're 18, but you can have a baby at 13. So you better teach your fucking kids about fucking and teach them about predators and everything. They should know all of that stuff and know to avoid it or to just give a hand job.
I agree completely. I was playing G.I. Joe. I had no fucking clue about any of this stuff.
About how horrible it was going to get.
When I got peer pressured into this, which, by the way, I've left off. I did it back. I went back and spent the night. Her brother was my friend in the trailer park, so I spent the night and I got some more. That was where I learned the trick of holding out longer, because I put my arm up on the edge of the couch and I watched Flintstones behind me, and I learned the trick of distracting yourself.
Wilma or Betty?
Think about baseball is the cliche.
I never knew the think about baseball cliche, but I always fucking equate it with watch Flintstones for myself because I learned it on my own.
Wow, do you still get a boner watching Fred or Wilma?
No, if the chicks were on, I could see it. But if it was a bowling scene or the Grand Poobah, then yeah, you could hold out.
The chicks didn't have that big of parts, so I assume it was the dinosaur
I
that
came
did it.
to Barney. I came to Barney. Sorry, I did that, Dave Attell.
It's a double episode.
It's weird that you would know that. You would learn that at 16 years old or 14 years old. Yeah, you know about that shit. And there's so much of the whole Me Too that's like, this is about repressed sexuality rather than, like, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well, but a good example is, though, the same way you describe sex was, you go, you should do it before you get married, is the same with alcohol. You know, where society goes, oh, don't drink till you're 21, don't have sex till you're 18.
Who can't drink until they're 21?
No, but here's the deal. I've
can't?
seen it firsthand. When people are actually really good kids and they're told they're good kids and they don't do it till they're 21, they're a shit show in a bar. They go out in public and drink for the first time, and they end up fucking getting the most trouble. Yeah,
That's the Rumspringa shit.
And you're like, enough. I mean, let them drink when they're young. Control it. let them know that, if you overdo it, you're not inhuman, and let them have sex, and then, regulate it. But at the same time, you go, if it's a 42-year-old, no,
hang on.
We're on a different topic.
Regulate teenage sex.
No, I mean, if you know it.
Tax it, legalize it.
Yeah.
We're all making a buck.
Next thing, for health reasons.
I will say that in that same trailer home where my friend and then his sister, the older brother, got back from the Marines and was buying us beer on the regular. So it was my first encounter with drinking on the regular that led to me getting laid at an early age. So I'm on board with your legislation of, I don't know, I'm not sure what.
Sin City Trailer Park.
I'm feeling like a victim in here, and I feel like somebody owes me $380,000.
Well, I grew up Catholic, and
Really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't either.
And I've already said this before, I believe, unless I said it on the Near the Wild podcast, Becker and John Norris's podcast. My dad's explanation of sex, the sex talk, was when he told me about, hey, in the bathing suit, that mesh thing? Yeah. All right. Done. So that was it, right? Everything else is like you looked at a book or that someone left around, and then I went the route of you just followed your nose, so to speak, and you do this. My birth mom and my stepbrother, who's younger than me by 8 years, when
There's
he
a lot
was
of degrees of separation here.
But I'm just saying,
Step-birth?
No, but
mom.
also what you're missing is the fact your real parents might have gave you a much more direct talk.
My real parents, my birth parents, my mom said that when her other son called and said, "Hey, we're about to have sex," they were going to have sex, and they go, "I know, we'll call mom," and they called up. That's the relationship. I'm saying that
I'm lost on this.
The relationship is in my house where I grew up. There was no talking of sex. You found out on your own, and there was some.
I grew up Catholic
some
as well.
Bathing suit stuff.
I didn't grow up Catholic.
Greg,
Nobody
I
ever
grew
talked
up,
to me at all.
I grew up Catholic as well, and it's a very interesting.
You found a dirty magazine and you hid it in your fort.
Oh,
That's how I grew up.
But the difference was
My mother just left it out.
the other example is
She was in it.
Beaver hunt.
the other example is my stepbrother, when he got into a situation and he was underage and they were going to have sex, they didn't know what to do. So they called his mom and said, "How do we do this?" She goes, "Okay, look, this is what's going to happen." And they explained it. They were laughing so hard they never had sex, but they were direct about it. And it was honest. He honestly could call his mom and go, "I don't know what's going on here,
She
but we got
described anal sex. That's why they laughed.
But
now she'll want to save this for celebrations."
to be fair, though, Greg,
Ignore the wet hole.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to tell you right away.
to be fair, the Catholic Church was so secretive with your lifestyle that I think that's how they got away with molesting kids for that long.
I
Because
don't know.
I mean, you have the same story. Where I go, there was nobody to go to go, is this? What is
Oh
this?
no, yeah.
But I mean, it was like, it's just like you go, I can't ask anybody.
I don't know about the doctrine of the like how deep that goes, but I just know that not talking about it is worse than just saying, "Look, this is it. This is what's going to happen," and you just go, "Oh no, icky," and they went and played video games or whatever.
Pong.
It's always
All right, I get
Lit.
a fucking 1,000 things going through my stupid head.
We should take a
But
break.
now- Oh yeah, it's at the 20-minute mark. I can actually write notes. But yeah, let's talk about fucking Nambla when we get back.
Ooh.
Can we still say cocktails?
Oh yeah, let's. We shouldn't go into a sponsor right now.
We actually have sponsors.
We'll just break and I don't know if we have a sponsor. We'll make one up. Please hold. Cocktails.
Don't give me that soda, the same old cola. I want a rock and roller. I want a pie. I want a Shasta. I want a taste for that. All the great taste Shasta has. I want a pie. I want a Shasta. I want a thrill. I want a wow. Taste it all. I want it now. I want a pie. I want a Shasta.
Hey, Doug, Crinkle bags.
Crinkle bags and eat. You'll get Andy Andrus' biggest pet peeve and mine. Mouth sounds and crinkling bags in the same fucking ad copy. Becker. I'll wait till you're done chewing. Please hold.
What?
He's done. He gulped it.
Becker. We lived out of a car for years.
Yeah.
Starting comedy.
Yep. Soap and
Driving
glove box.
Pieces of shit cars, and the check engine light goes on, and you panic, and you go, it's only a matter of time. That was the 90s. Now, it's a new decade. I'm not sure which one. I don't need to know anymore.
Some would say a new century.
It's the one where you have a piece of shit car but a smartphone.
Yes. Fixed. When you're a broke fuck like most of my fans and you have a check engine light on and you go, I should take it to a mechanic who's going to fuck you for thousands of dollars and say, oh, it's a thing and you got to do this.
It's two things. It's, I'm going to take it to a mechanic, which I can't afford and I'm never going to go to a mechanic. Or it's it's nothing. The gas cap is...
Ignore it.
Yeah.
Ignore
There's
it.
thousands of things that prompt that check engine light to go on.
It's like when we're in our 50s, we have lumps. Just ignore it. It'll go away.
You'll be fine.
I usually
David
choose,
Bowie.
Well, fixed is...
You're going to try to explain it?
I usually choose to ignore those things, but that's only because there's not an easy fix
Easy
to
is
help
the
you
key
figure
word.
Imagine
it out.
if you had a lump on your body and you could just plug a small USB port into your asshole and they'd go, you don't have cancer.
Wait.
And then you go on
Wait,
with
you
your
can't
day.
do that?
This is what fixed is. This is the cancer of your car. Go ahead, Chaille.
This is the
Explain.
detector in the cancer of your car, so you know whether you're going to get ripped off when you go to the mechanic. Because look, the light goes on, you think, I don't know, what the fuck? We're going to go out on the road. We're going to do 1,000 miles or something. Something's leaking somewhere, and I don't know. The fixed device will tell you. We use it on all of our
All
cars.
the cars,
I
but-
used it on 6 cars, and then when I went to L.A., Brett Erickson, he has a Prius, and it's a hybrid vehicle, and
It works on gay cars?
It works on gay cars too.
And Erickson.
Hey.
So I sent him one. He had no idea. There was a problem with the batteries in his electric car, the hybrid. Turns out he went and called the dealer. It's covered in a recall. He had no idea that it was covered. He thought he was fucked.
And
on
he
a
would
used
have
car.
been. With
He would have
time,
been.
with time,
Yeah.
he would have been fucked.
And
Are
the
you saying the fixed unfucked a guy?
It fixed him.
the best thing is you can tell the mechanic exactly what you need done before he tries to fuck you, rake you over the coals.
I just had the fucking pickup truck. The tire went sideways going through that alley behind the corner store, and it just busted. And a random, not elderly, but older Mexican guy is walking down the alley at the I was with Morgan Murphy, and the fucking tire goes sideways, and all of a sudden I go, oh, fuck, we must have a flat tire. I get out, and the tire is leaned in at this angle. I don't know how many degrees that is, but he goes,
many.
oh, looks like you lost a tie rod. And I go, I was going to ask you, random guy walking down, and he goes, I don't have time to fix this. I go, I wasn't asking you that. I was going to ask you what it is so I could tell my mechanic what busted, rather than saying, my tire's at a something degree angle.
It sounds like Doug's doing an ad for Felipe, not fixed.
I waited for the rest of the story so I waited 10 more minutes and another guy came down the alley and he did have time to fix it.
I just didn't want to tell my mechanic. I could have.
I
It was
don't
a ball
want to.
joint. Anyway, my mechanic fixed it.
Fix
But,
alerts
I've
you.
been to bars that are called ball joints. You don't want to hang around.
Fix alerts you to over 7,000 potential issues in real time. It tells you exactly what's wrong, so you never have to wonder or guess. And you can even turn off the check engine light yourself if it ends up being something you don't want to work on, which the S10 had an issue. And I said, hey, Doug, look, it's this. And it was right on my phone, because there's an app that tells you exactly what's going on. And Doug's like, yeah, the mechanic already told me about that. It's not a big deal. We don't have to do it. So boom, turn the check engine light off right there. That's where
Now
I
I
thought you
don't
were
have to
going.
worry.
I didn't think you were
There's
going
no
into the
light
Felipe
on.
story.
I'm fine. Chad, what are the details?
Right now, you can get fixed for as low as $39 each. Plus, Doug Stanhope podcast listeners will get an additional 10% off when you enter the promo code Stanhope at listentomycar.com. Go to www.listentomycar.com and enter promo code Stanhope for an additional 10% off the already discounted price.
Hey, why didn't we do that with the eBay yard sale? Enter promo code Stanhope and not get fucked over by all those fucking leeches and pariahs that try to sell shit as eBay yard sale Doug Stanhope from Indonesia.
You don't even know I got a showed up.
I know you're cutting all this.
No, I didn't cut it. That'd be a good lead in after the commercial.
I got a friend request on Facebook the other day from Doug Stanhope, which is clearly not you, but just pictures that people have taken from your public profile and created a new Facebook profile named Doug Stanhope. And we have several mutual friends, which I kind of expected because people
so
are
you
fucking
friended
retarded. No, but it tells you, like, all of these people are friends.
Andy Andrus.
You can see
Inman.
them commenting like, Doug, you're so silly. But he's posting things in, like, Spanish language with videos, things that Doug would never do.
All right, back to the point was, if you were a gay teenager, how much out of your age range fucking would you be doing? Like the whole, like, I'm not in support of NAMBLA by any means, but yeah, if I was as horny gay as I was straight, it's again the same, dichotomy as, okay, a dude can fuck a chick when he's 17 or 16, but if you're gay, oh, you seriously don't know what you're doing.
But again, the secrecy is what makes that always weird, is when these kids come, teenagers come out, there usually were rest areas and whatever. That's where
teen
they actually,
clubs, I would imagine.
Well, no, they weren't hanging out with their own age.
There's one,
they were confused.
No, there's one owner of a teen club.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You were confused? Like, if you
No, I'm saying
The availability would be,
But
it
you
would
wouldn't know.
shut down all borders.
yeah.
But the
It
predators come
reminds me,
swooping in.
Anthony DeSimito has a fucking hilarious joke about losing his virginity.
A comedian
to
friend of
guy.
ours.
Yeah. And I don't want to do his joke injustice, but he had about
Do it. Do a disservice to it. We do it all the time on the podcast.
It's about how he
Ruin
went
someone
on
else's
he lost his virginity for a McDonald's hamburger or something. like he forced him to do it.
So this one time I was 16 years old and I met this guy that was 24 years old and he came and picked me up in his pickup truck. And I know this is surprising, but he was kind of weird. Yeah, he took me to McDonald's and bought me hot and spices and just watched me eat. And I just sat there and I was like, is this what gay love is like?
So look up Anthony DeSimito and find his joke. But he basically told the guy he had to or he would turn him in. He reversed it on him because he told him that's what it was. He told him he was too fat after he bought a McDonald's.
Supersize me too.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Well, you don't get to too fat me, or I'll me too you."
I think he just probably rewrote his joke.
Yeah, that's actually very funny.
I love Anthony DeSimito.
Yeah.
It's the whole idea that when you're at your, as they say, your sexual prime as a man, you're fucking watermelons. I've fucked a watermelon.
Yeah.
As a younger teen, probably.
I guess it wasn't a seedless watermelon.
Not anymore.
Not any less.
Fucked a toilet paper tube.
There's one of those, I remember one of the teen movies.
All right,
that had
what's the
melon.
weirdest thing you've jerked off into?
Well, when you said that, I thought I patented that when I was a youngster, but the toilet paper tube is the easiest thing. If you're jerking off, you have a roll of toilet paper, you just tuck some of it down in the toilet tube, and then you just shove the head of your dick right in the toilet tube toilet
tube.
paper thing, and it fucking
Yeah.
catches it.
we got
I did patent it.
What? I didn't. I would do that dry. I didn't even know about lubricants. I probably did.
Who uses lubricants to jerk off?
Well, it was back. I mean, back when you were a kid.
When you were a kid, yeah. Vaseline, and then you'd have to clean it off. Did you ever jerk off with Vaseline?
Never once used a lubricant to jerk off my whole life.
Really?
Yeah. For what?
Not even fish bait?
Wait, like chicken liver?
No, those little salmon eggs.
Yeah. Hey,
Rubber worms?
Chad, when you go home, fill up your cardboard tube
De-hook
with some
'em.
salmon eggs.
Oh, wow. Listen, are you
Why does the bathroom smell like period?
Are you trying to create a Island of Dr. Moreau scenario where I have some sort of weird toilet paper roll salmon baby?
Toilet paper roll salmon, baby.
Don't worry, Chad, it's not
I
yours.
want to inseminate these salmon eggs.
They'll never be able to figure out who the lady was. There's just too many eggs in that jar.
23andMe sponsor our podcast.
10 years later, you're in an aquarium getting a paternity test.
Come on, you sea monkeys, get in the car.
And now Maury Povich. You are not the father.
Maury Blowfish.
Oh, my God.
I don't even know what we were talking about.
I was
fucking killing me.
We're talking about like, naturally you fuck within your weight class, age class. Like you naturally when you're 15 years old and a raging boner
As a heterosexual dude.
Yeah, I would assume it's probably the same with homosexual dudes. But you go, oh, I'm 15. Someone 32. Ooh, they're old and gross. Generally,
Right, unless rents do.
For one thing, I don't claim to know a lot about the homosexual world, but I have been bored and browsed all categories on Craigslist, and I've been very jealous that dudes could just meet up at the park to suck each other's dick, whoever I'm just looking to suck some dick. I don't care who you are.
30
I'm like,
minutes.
No, there's no way I wouldn't show up for that if I wasn't in, if I was.
But this is why I've made To Catch a Predator. I said
You'd
that was
probably
actually
come on the drive over.
on purpose, just so I can hold out longer at the park.
Hey,
I got 2 hours to kill.
hey, can we meet up somewhere the Flintstones is playing?
Do you mind if I sing the Flintstones theme song while you do this?
But that was the thing. To Catch a Predator almost seemed like baiting old guys to think that young girls couldn't find anybody. It was like they could absolutely find somebody. What makes you think you need to drive 200 miles to a girl at home alone with a hot tub? She's busy. You are a predator. That's creepy. At what point?
She didn't need to post an ad. She just needed to pass a note in school.
All she had to do is leave her window open.
Poly class.
I mean, Jesus. It's just a weird world we're living in where people are, but that was the thing. At certain ages, you got to remember, it doesn't change anywhere. India,
Average
very
age of,
marriage.
I remember that being we talked about this. That old trivia game they'd have in bars where you just got your box and
you
play
could pick
trivia.
sex, so it would give you sex trivia.
What was that one called?
I
We used to play that all the
this
time.
is like a Sega.
NTM. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, you're on
remember
the-
seeing the average age of marriage in India was 11 years old.
And you had to guess that in a public place with a little box.
No
The
pun intended. Low box.
the question you bring up is very interesting, and as for mostly heterosexual guys here, well, we do a lot of
Primarily.
drinking, and we do a lot of confessing late night here. I think that would be a really good question to pose to someone who grew up in that community, because I disagree.
Todd Glass won't come to our
Well,
podcast.
Anthony DeSimito is very open.
I like Todd Glass better.
That'd be
You're
it's two
big
ends
time.
of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that, I disagree. I think that when you're young and there's a lot of social cues that you are not picking up on because you are definitely into guys, you will go do dangerous things.
Well,
you will
listen,
do things that are not like you're a sensible straight A student and you're just doing shitty fucking things because you can't talk to anyone, and the 30-year-old guy is available and willing to show you.
When the wind blows, something grows.
That's my point, is that it's all about sexual repression, where you're treating kids like they don't have sexuality when they do. And you're making them muffle it, whatever it is. You're a girl. You're not smart enough. You're a faggot. You need to be treated.
Well, my point is that imagine that if it's just you having heterosexual desires, they won't even talk about that compared to you knowing this is wrong when your dad comes home and says motherfucking faggots or something.
Right, but meanwhile,
you're already picking up on this shit.
You'll listen to music your parents hate just to get even with them.
But the fact that
it's the same with women, where some slut is the same as faggot, where a woman can't be openly sexual like a man can. And it's like, it sounds
I'm sorry.
If
we're talking about now, like what you're saying, the validation outside of your family is going to feel this way. The fact that so many people are willing to suck your dick at the park is going to be validation that you're not a fucking horrible, evil person. But still, anybody would naturally pull that.
Especially if you grow up Catholic, the shame involved.
Poor fuckers.
I mean,
but again,
so
the fact
confusing.
you didn't go into being a park ranger is the same thing I have hanging on me.
Why you're not Picasso?
Joey Scazola had that great bit about going to a gay bar. It's funny because it turns out he's gay. But I don't want any of these faggots looking at me. And then after about a half an hour, nobody's even looked at me. And then I'm going up to, what's wrong with me? Can I buy you a drink? I'm doing a disservice to the bit.
But it really was. And it was exactly that. People go, I won't go there. No, I want a thing. And you go ahead, go in there. I dare you. They'll be like, yeah, you're not that interesting. We're very colorful people.
We know a trick.
Yeah. But I mean, it's the truth in everything in life. Look at whatever. They have the group of kids that they can't get laid, so they fucking want to shoot up places.
Yeah.
What are they called? Whatever. The Isodels or whatever. The imbeciles. I don't know what they're called.
Incels.
Yeah, that's what it is. I knew it was close to two of those.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's a group that they can't get laid because it's like if you had Sadie Hawkins Day in China right now, we'd have a war. They got 150 men to every woman.
I think and I think a lot of that is just autistic dudes that don't know how to, be in society and hook up with chicks.
But that's a great thing about the internet is people, there's a lot of people that are really funny online that I know. And they tweet the funniest shit. But socially, when you meet them, they're staring at their shoes and they can't. But those people can meet each other now, and it's a great thing.
And they're called Nora Ephron.
I was going to say Jack and Dino, but I just did. Jack and Dino is fucking hilarious online.
Yeah.
He's a fucking dick in person. He just gets angry or stares at his shoes.
Wait.
Don't draw attention to yourself, Chad. He already said Jack and Dino.
He's abusive towards guests. Anyway,
I think his thing is like he doesn't know any other way.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, the people that are hilarious online, he's a great teacher. Yeah, when you have a fucking 14-year-olds, you command the audience. They're not going to talk back to you.
Yeah, but that's a fine line to walk without getting the parents involved in what you're telling them.
Honestly, Jack and Dino I'm amazed he's still a teacher because he'll tell me stuff like the Carlos Mencia shit came out. He's in Texas. And so he's got a lot of Hispanic students, and he taught his class why Carlos Mencia is a fucking hack.
Hey, give him credit for that.
They'll remember one day at school.
No, at least they leave with something.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he teaches in a district without a lot of parental involvement. It'd probably be all right.
High turnover rate. Yeah.
No, good for him. Yeah. And that's it. Everyone's different and everyone's a thing. But like I said, the secrecy of our society is starting to unfold. It really is. It's starting to come unglued when they go, 300 priests now. 99 were in Philadelphia. Philadelphia never said anything. No wonder it's brotherly love.
Deaf ears.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I just think he's going to be spent when we do the next Near the Wild. He's using
if-
it all here.
Once the parents find out, they'll be known as the Garden State.
Men and women and homosexuals, transgender, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the thing... Everyone was tweeting me yesterday about some story that came out where vagina is now an offensive word because it leaves out transgender people and you should call it a front hole. And I didn't click on the story because we're doing eBay yard sale. And I'm like, all right, I'm focusing on this. I'm not going to start a rift about anything, the fucking Asia, Argento, or the
Lover
whatever.
pizzas,
Front
hater
hole.
politics.
It is Sargento cheese.
Yes.
So, and I keep thinking,
Every time I say Argento,
I think Argento's wrong. I think I've got it wrong because it's so close to Sargento. So
it's whatever.
yeah,
It's Anthony Bourdain's old lady.
go look at do a
Widow.
Go do a quick thing on Wikipedia, and there's some history there with her and other dudes, like younger guys, band guys.
Wait,
people
was
in
it one of them Elon Musk?
no,
She was, I don't,
not Asia.
no. I'm
You think it's someone else.
I'm thinking of someone else.
She's from Ferrari land. She's not fucking an electric car guy.
She was, yeah, that's why I'm.
That's somewhere
ignoring
else.
That. Anyway, what was my point?
The front hole.
The front hole.
Front hole.
Yeah, that front hole thing.
As we call it, because it's
They're saying
man-made.
that it should be called the front hole now, which doesn't make sense. Again, I have not clicked on the story that you're all tweeting me about. Vagina should now be called the front hole. Who are the fucking people deciding this?
I saw the headline and I assumed
That's-
it was a fucking onion or something.
I think it's a
not-
Build-A-Dick
not
group.
real.
But the people are saying you called this years ago, and I like.
Oh, well, do you remember? I know what they're saying because remember when we did the fight about the San Francisco? They were arguing because they call it a manhole and they shouldn't be called a manhole because that's offensive to women. And
I stole this joke from Becker.
yeah, so
It's
they should call it a utility hole because that's what all my friends call it anyway.
All right, that has nothing to do with this conversation, but that's
Well, it
back
does.
in our open mic days. That was a bit he did. It didn't work for him, so I stole it.
But
Well,
if you would have called a vagina a front hole 5 years ago, that would be offensive. There would be a group that would say you can't
There'd
say
be an
that.
affront,
But it doesn't make sense. Again, I have not clicked on
and
the
there'd
thing.
be a
so
bunch of cunts.
that's an old Becker joke. You know why they call it Jack in the Box? Because they can't call it beat off in your cunt. We weren't the greatest open micers, but we were.
They got work. They got work.
Does the back hole name stay the same in this scenario?
Or
What is
you-
the
yeah,
new
you should
name?
pussy.
What is the new name for the back hole?
Rear entrance,
Front hole.
Mud hole.
wait list.
But who are these people that are deciding? That's like one of the questions that people were offended by so and so's joke. Well, they never quote the offended person, like or people, a group of people. Is anyone actually offended, or are you manipulating? Oh, this is offensive.
To be fair in the fake news thing, I think it really is. No, I mean, but remember, like, eggs are bad for you. Beef's bad for you. We've now gotten to the point where they're going, the world needs to change because they're offended by this. And all you got to do is Google there and you can't find anything. Like, there's nobody that really is.
Who are the people that are in charge of,
Offended by breastfeeding in public?
LGBT,
Offended by
however
breastfeeding
many-
in public? Anyone?
Whoever
Okay.
gets the most attention from the media and social media so that it can snowball. That's who fucking gets
One
the final
Bob.
word is
One blog.
whatever gets snowballed, regardless of logic or fucking.
But it's real though. I mean, it's like it's weird that it actually gets momentum.
What
I like
happens?
it.
What happens is
means
they
the
put
end
out
is
the
coming.
story, and then people take sides on the story. Well, yeah, that is offensive, or it isn't. But it's all the people in the comments. There was no one initially offended, but if you make it into a big thing, then people take sides, and it's water cooler talk. But you can't find anyone who was initially outraged.
But if you think about it, when they talk about the election being stolen by Facebook posts, that somehow turned our entire national election. When you look at Facebook posts, you go, yeah, what, skip. That somehow changed us. This could actually change us where they go, oh no, that's what everyone thinks. And you go, oh, I guess I should think that way too then, I guess. I mean,
It's not even your front.
The guy that was just in the small news, you listeners probably didn't hear it because you have jobs that you're shirking your responsibilities listening to this podcast in earbuds.
You only have time for large news.
Yeah. Whatever they're... Yeah, it was a comedian offended some like Purdue or something, some university.
At their weekend where the new freshmen come in with their parents. And so it's there. Yeah, you're familiar with that work.
Yeah, if you read This Is Not Fame, I had about a third of a giant theater walk out on me on Parents' Weekend, dropping off their freshmen because they accidentally listed me as family-friendly comedy event.
This was a comic ventriloquist.
The Newser
Right.
headline: comedian ruffles feathers at the fuck whatever, accused of sexual harassment. And then you read ventriloquist and magician. And you go, all right, that's harassment on comedians. To call a fucking ventriloquist a comedian is offensive to me. Where's my $380,000? Were you going there?
Just like tears.
But yeah, and they literally 7,000 people walked out, according to.
I don't know if that number.
No,
Note
have to
from
try.
the Doug
it's in
Stanhope-
Utah. Okay, so it was
No,
three
it
guys.
wasn't in Utah.
It was in Utah.
No, that's David Cross. You're confusing.
Oh,
me.
okay, yeah. No, it was Purdue.
We'd
Ball
like-
State. I'm sorry.
We'd like to
Devoted 99%
Just
for
cover
Trump.
his mouth.
Trump.
Here at the Doug Stanhope podcast, we'd like to say that Matt Becker's information is not ever factual. Fake news starts with Matt Becker. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just got a like on Twitter. No, but the thing, you're right. It was Ball State because I went to school in Indiana, so it was Ball State. But they're very conservative.
I think it was Purdue. It doesn't matter. It's fucking
Purdue.
It's the worst part of the world. You're from there. You know.
Yeah. No, I
that
knew.
Iowa, Indiana are the worst fucking.
They're just
backwoods
unbelievable.
and well educated, and that's the problem.
Well, not really. I mean, they went to those schools.
They have great educations, and they're still fucking.
They walked out of
racist.
science before they walked out of this show.
We should close on that, but I don't know what time we're at.
Close.
Yeah, we should close. Yeah. Hey, parents, teach your children well. Fucking tell them what the fuck world is about. We say as for child-free people, I'll tell you how to raise your kids. Tell them the fucking truth. Start with, there's no Santa Claus, but I'm going to buy you shit on December 25th. So shut up. I will not buy you shit on September. Yeah, don't start with fucking lies that they have to grow through.
Explain to them how the
Wait a
world
minute.
works.
Wait a
I mean,
minute.
if you buy it on January 1st, it's not tax deductible.
While logically, I agree with that. Having being a part of one of these child-free people that you speak
You just
of.
turned child-free
I,
at 39 years old? Or, I don't know.
43.
Whatever. I met you a long time ago. I didn't know you changed.
I raised children, and using Santa Claus and such is a grift to get them to behave the way that you need them to behave.
When's your
So
next
you
court date?
Well, I mean, it doesn't work into adulthood. It only works when they're children. But if you need them to shut the fuck up, it's a fantastic tool.
But it works the same as saying, I'm not going to buy you shit on buy you shit day. If you don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but it's a bargaining tool, and it later becomes a plea bargaining tool.
I've told you what I did when my kids were younger. They maybe I didn't. They I don't know. I'm drunk.
This is how it goes.
We would never have. They would get Christmas break in like middle of December, and they'd be home for 2 weeks, all nervous energy, waiting for all the shit Santa Claus is going to bring them. And then they get their presents at Christmas, and then they have a half a week to a week before they go back to school to play with their presents. And the whole fucking scenario seemed stupid to me. So I sat all my kids down and told them, you know how you guys ask me about how Santa Claus can possibly, travel everywhere? I says, the truth is he can't. There's no way that could happen. He schedules ahead of time, depending on other people's schedules. So our Christmas is now, as soon as you guys get out of school, right away, Santa Claus is coming. And so then they have the entire Christmas break, and I don't sit there dealing with fucking lunatic kids while I have toys in my fucking closet like an idiot that could easily occupy
hiding
them.
the guns.
Yeah. So I started a tradition of
Don't go through this many Tickle Me Elmos to find my AK-47 and my sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah.
And you're helping Santa Claus realize a better bottom line in
Santa Claus
his industry.
can be way more time efficient. He
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
There's no way you can travel all the way around. He has to coordinate with people when it's convenient with them. So our Christmas...
Dildos and ammos. That's what you're looking for if you let him look around.
Santa Claus only does this as part of his community service. So when the guys in orange suits start picking up trash on our dirt road,
he's got to be 1,000 feet away before sunbreak.
Let's fucking call it a podcast. Hey, kids, adults don't fuck kids, and kids don't fuck adults. Fuck in your weight class.
I can't feel my leg.
Johnny, I can't feel nothing in my legs. I remember playing paintball, getting just going full fucking Vietnam War. Johnny, I can't feel nothing in my leg. Help me. Give this note to my wife. I can't feel nothing in my leg. I wouldn't stop.
When did you play paintball?
I used to play paintball. We used to. Let me get into
When did you do things?
You ran around?
That shocked me as well when he said that.
I assumed you were a sniper. That's all I can figure.
The only time I ever threw up from running is when I captured the flag and I had to run up a steep hill to get it back. And I was only like 20 or 21 years old, and I was still already that much of a smoker that I vomited at the top.
It's a victory vomit.
Yeah. It's like
shot by his own team for vomiting on the flag.
Victory vomit should be a thing. That's actually good.
Take your flag and puke on your hill.
Yeah.
Tracy, grab the off.
I named this in the name of Denny's Breakfast and
Marble Lights.
Oh, you don't chew much.